Recorded Books and RB Digital present Before It's Too Late by Sara Driscoll. Narrated by Angela Daw. To my mother, Edith Dana, who opened up the magic of the creative arts for all her children by showing us the joy of books and music from our very first days. Our successes are only possible because of the gifts you gave us. Prologue. Monday, May 22nd, 7:47 p.m. Glencarlin Park, Arlington, Virginia. Sandy Holmes took a deep breath of spring air as the sun sank low over the rise of the hill overhead. Glancing over her shoulder, she gauged the distance back to her car in the lot at the far end of the park. Time to head back before we lose the light. But she paused, giving herself a moment to enjoy the tranquility of the small forested valley, an oasis in the middle of bustling urban life. It was a cool evening, the breeze carrying a dampness that hinted at rain, and Lubber Run Trail, a narrow paved path that hugged the curves of the meandering creek, was quiet. Deserted, actually. Now that she noticed it, all the other hikers must have already headed in for the night. Pressure against her knee had her glancing down and smiling. Ruby, her Heinz 57 service dog, heavy on the hound, gazed up at her, her dark eyes full of love and concern. Sandy reached down and ran a hand over the dog's head, her fingertips dropping away just where caramel-colored fur met the camo-patterned service dog vest. "It's okay, I'm good." Trained as a PTSD service dog, Ruby was always alert and ready to either protect or soothe, depending on the situation, but Sandy had been feeling pretty steady over the last few weeks. Maybe it was the coming of spring, but her post-traumatic stress, a souvenir from serving with the Marines in the Iraq War, seemed better lately. This past winter had come with some rough patches, but hope apparently dawned with warmer weather and longer days. It had been weeks since her last severe panic attack, and for the first time in years, Sandy felt like she was coming out of a fog and stepping into brilliant sunlight. "Come on, girl. Time to head for home." She started to tighten the lead, but Ruby was already circling around behind her, her body stiff, her nose pointed forward as if at a target, and her eyes locked on the path behind them.
"Excuse me?"
Sandy jerked around at the sound of the man's voice, stepping back a pace as gut-wrenching fear spiked her heart rate. She looked up to see a man about 15 feet up the hill to her left, backlit by the setting sun. He stood on the short access path that ran up to the corner where North Columbus Street met 3rd Street North. Behind him, a large white van was parked with the back doors thrown open. Ruby gave a low growl, her head dropping lower between her shoulders and her weight shifting to her haunches as if preparing to spring.
"Animal control,"
the man said calmly, his eyes locked on the dog instead of the woman. He pointed to the insignia on his baseball cap.
"We got a call about a rabid raccoon in one of the backyards up on North Columbus, but it got out before I could get here. It's in pretty bad shape, and we're afraid it's very infectious. Have you seen any raccoons down here?"
Sandy surreptitiously blew out a breath heavy with relief and gave herself a mental kick for overreacting. Just because a strange man startles you doesn't mean you're under attack. He's just doing his job. She laid a hand on Ruby's back. "Ruby, it's okay, girl." The tense muscles under her fingers relaxed in response to the soothing tone. Sandy looked back up at the animal control officer, his face shaded even further in the dim light by the brim of his cap. "I'm sorry, no." Sandy cast her eyes around for any sign of the animal, pulling Ruby a little closer as if to protect her with her own body.
"I'm pretty sure it came down here. If I could suggest, maybe skip the Creekside path and head up to North Columbus Street if that's the direction you're going. Not so much cover up there, and you'll see him if he takes a run at you. Your dog is up to date on his vaccines?"
She is, yes. Thank you for your concern. Come on, Ruby. We'll cut across North Columbus and dip back down into the park on the other side of Arlington Boulevard."
"Thank you, ma'am. Wouldn't want either of you getting bitten."
He stood aside on the access path as if to allow them to pass.
"I'm gonna search down here some more. I'd prefer to put the poor creature out of its misery rather than leave it to suffer."
Sandy gave the leash a gentle pull, and Ruby reluctantly trotted along at her side, her eyes staying locked on the stranger. They passed the man, now she could see he was in full uniform, whose face was turned away as he scanned the bushes, and they pushed up the short hill. The street above was just coming into view when a vicious hold suddenly wrapped around her.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.